These were the days, weren't they? Do you remember them? You could just get on a plane packed with strangers and fly halfway across the world, anywhere you wanted. You could rent a tuk-tuk, drive around an entire new country, trying all the local foods and meeting all the local people and having an incredible adventure. Now we're just stuck at home, aren't we, in front of the computers and just watching videos and dreaming about those days. Because travel just seems like a distant memory to me right now, and I don't know how you guys are feeling, but we haven't been able to travel all around the world pretty much for 4.5 months, 5 months for some, and it's felt like forever. This video is actually going to shed some light and be a bit positive, because obviously you can't travel right now, right? Or can you? Because we're starting to find out all of the places that you can actually travel to right now, and we actually have selected some people, some awesome content creators and friends of ours and a few budgeteers ourselves to tell you where we've traveled, where you can travel if you want to, and how to travel responsibly, at least for the next end of the year and into 2021. Because I mean, let's be real, this kind of thing isn't going to happen tomorrow, is it? So sit down and enjoy this bite size, because by the end of this video, if you're like us, you'll love travel and you'll find out where you can actually travel to right now if you wanted to, or where you can travel to very soon in the not too distant future with as little restriction as possible. And soon enough, fingers crossed, if we all chip in and we all do our part, we can get back to having incredible adventures like this. So let's roll the intro and get this bite size going. I just want to quickly jump in to tell you that this video is sponsored by the lovely people at Skillshare. You guys probably hear us talk about them all the time because we work with them all the time. In fact, we have our own courses on Skillshare now about how to build a travel YouTube channel and build meaningful travel YouTube channels. And I've been taking some courses recently about, can you guess what? Look at this setup I've got going here. I'm going to get into streaming on Twitch and gaming on YouTube, because I haven't been able to travel. So I've been taking courses on learning about gear and about how to set things up, and I didn't know anything until I started taking these courses, and they're great. So yes, definitely jump into Skillshare, get lost in the courses. Obviously you don't have to learn courses about YouTube or streaming, you can do anything. So, you know, don't waste this time where you can't travel. Invest in yourself, invest in a new passion, or you know, get better at something. Just enjoy Skillshare. It's free. So use that link and support the channel at the same time. We have all, rightfully so, been so obsessed with our own domestic issues and how we're resolving the virus on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, that we don't really, well, I haven't been looking elsewhere. I haven't been looking outside. And if you go on YouTube, it seems like all of the travel YouTube channels these days can't travel either, and they've either just like bought a van and are traveling domestically, or they're just sitting on their arse playing computer games like I'm doing. This is a question that you guys should know the answer to. Like, can I travel and should I travel? Well, the answer is you can. You will find out a handful of countries in this video that you could potentially, depending on where you're from and all the rest of it, that you could literally fly to tomorrow if you wanted to. You could literally go to about 8 or 9 countries tomorrow. Book a flight, go. We're not saying you should do that at all. We're saying that you should travel domestically or as responsibly as you can, and we don't think it's that responsible to just get on a plane and fly to some of these countries. Just wait. We're going to be able to go to beautiful places very soon, okay? We just need to work together. So this video, like we said, we're going to go around the world and tell you through each continent which countries are completely closed and which ones are open. So we thought the best way to do that without boring you by listing every country and what's going on, we've handpicked the most interesting ones, places that are close to our hearts and really good for budget backpackers, because some of them are open, or some of them are opening soon, and some of them are people that we know are traveling there right now, and they're going to be featured in this video. Don't worry, it's not just going to be me talking to you. We're going to have a bunch of people in this video. So where should we start? I think the best place to start is Europe. Probably the most open part of the world is Europe. There are currently only 6 countries with heavy or strong restrictions, and the rest of them are open, mostly within the EU region. So a lot of people, like Thais will tell you in a second, are traveling within the EU countries, but 6 of them are still closed, including Georgia. The beautiful country of Georgia is still closed. They were due to open at the beginning of July last week, but it's now been postponed till the end of August. And like most countries, including where I live, Thailand, these things, they say it's going to open, and then they push it back, and then they push it back, and then they push it back. That's fine, you know, it's for a good reason. But if you want to go to Georgia anytime this summer, it's looking likely that it's not going to happen. But pretty much all the other countries are open, including Belgium. Belgians are able to travel around Europe and within Belgium, obviously. So why don't we go and see Thais, and he's going to tell you about what it's like and how you can travel if you're in Belgium.
Okay, hello, this is Thijs here from Belgium in Europe, and I'll give you an update on how it's going over here. Actually, we have like really good news, because here in Belgium we're allowed to travel again. More so, we're allowed to go back to like cafes, bars, restaurants, they're all open again. So after like 3 months of sitting here in this room, sitting and working indoors from a distance, it feels really nice to just go to the pub again and drink with mates. Although there are still a lot of regulations in place, like we're only allowed to see like 10 people each week. So we still have to keep track of all the people that we're seeing. But yeah, the most important one is that we're allowed to travel again. Rules here in Belgium and in Europe, they're changing all the time, depending on how the situation is going. But right now, this instant, Belgium has fewer cases each day, so it's really looking up. That's why we're allowed to travel to our neighboring countries like the Netherlands, Germany, France and the UK, and even Spain right now. Okay, we're en route in France, and this is what it looks like. Face masks are obligated to be worn everywhere. This is the new travel. And I even went traveling with my girlfriend last week, just an impromptu last minute trip down to France, down south. Just enjoy nature, enjoy the really great French culture, food, and yeah, just camp in nature. I really wanted to be like more sure where I can go, and just that's why we decided just to travel by car. For one, it's a lot safer. We're just with 2 people in a car instead of with 300 people in a plane, and which gave us a lot of freedom, because we could just go wherever we wanted to go and get for more, like get really cheap accommodation, because you can get a lot of discount now on like campsites or on Airbnb accommodations. I can really recommend. So if you wanted to go for a trip this summer, if you're allowed in the country that you're staying in, I would really recommend checking out Airbnb, just to get a cheap little room. Yeah, as you can see, it's really beautiful there. Just a week of relaxing and enjoying, and I hope you guys can enjoy your summer of 2020 as well, and that you can do some local traveling in your own country. I would seriously recommend just to avoid the busy places, but I would say camping is the cheapest and, in my opinion, the most relaxing travel option. So if you don't, well, I would recommend you try it. But yeah, stay safe, and I hope you guys have a good summer.
Let's move on to North America. A lot of you guys are from North America, USA, Canada, and you guys are obviously very aware of the situation there, and anyone who wants to go to the US or Canada right now, it's pretty much closed off, especially in the US, to the hotspots like China, Iran, Brazil. They have restrictions on people entering the US from those countries. But obviously, if you are from the US and you're desperate to travel, then you should just go on YouTube and search, because a lot of American YouTube travel channels right now, especially our friends Kara and Nate, they're traveling any way, which way they can, including they just bought and rented, no, they bought it, right? Yeah, they bought this epic van and it's all done up already, and they're driving around the States, domestically traveling and being responsible, wearing masks whenever they, meet people and strangers and things like that. So that's an option. Good news is Mexico. Mexico is one of our favorite countries in the world, and it is open to a lot of countries. So just check where you're from and if it's possible to go to Mexico. We know that the land borders to the US are shut. They're not letting in any Americans right now, but that might change. Maybe not tomorrow. But anyway, that is a great piece of news. You can go to Mexico. South America, one of the most amazing budget backpacker destinations, is pretty much completely shut off to foreign travelers right now. Funnily enough, you can fly into Ecuador. So if you ever want to go to Ecuador, that's an option. There is a 14-day quarantine period you have to do at the airport in a hotel, but it's open, so feel free to go to Ecuador. But unfortunately, all the other countries are shut to foreign travelers. And in fact, here is a subscriber called Ali, friend of Lena's, who lives in Colombia, who's going to tell you a little bit about what's going on right there, right now.
Here I'm Ali, I'm from Colombia, here the situation so far, I think we've been one of the world's longest lockdowns. It actually got extended yesterday for 2 extra weeks, and since cases have been growing quite a bit, still there is no perspective inside of restriction easing down. So basically what's going on is the airport is shut down, borders are closed, no international flights are being booked up until sort of September 1st deadline. We'll see how that goes. But otherwise, internal travel restrictions are also in place, and the only way to get here is through what they call the humanitarian flights for both expats leaving the country and Colombians coming from abroad. I think that's still possible. You would just have to get in line at the Colombian consulate somewhere in the world.
So let's talk about Asia. So obviously I live in Asia, and all of Asia is pretty much shut off, especially in Thailand. Completely closed off to anyone. It's really hard to even get here if you're Thai. There is a huge long waiting list. They're talking about opening up in August, but it keeps getting pushed back and it keeps getting pushed back, and it's probably not going to be till November, December time until it's fully going. Fingers crossed. But the Maldives, that's due to open. When's that due to open again? Next week. It's due to open up next week. So by the end of July, apparently the Maldives is going to open up. No quarantine needed. You might need a health certificate to show that you don't have the virus before you fly. So if you've got $1 billion and you want to go to the Maldives, maybe you could go there in the next couple of weeks. Taiwan, on the other hand, one of my favorite and newly discovered amazing destinations. I went there last year, made a good series on it. You should go check it out. We just found out that that country is completely COVID-free, pretty much. And my good friend Alex, he's out there traveling, he lives there, and he travels around and he's making good videos. I'll link his channel below. And some friends of the show that I met in Chiang Mai for a beer, actually, they have been traveling around Taiwan now for the past few months. They're called Nate and Kim. And, let me just hand over to them. They're going to tell you about their experience traveling in Taiwan now and what you can expect if you want to go to Taiwan very soon. Because fingers crossed, it's looking like that is going to open up to a lot of new countries very soon.
Good morning and welcome to Taiwan. We're Nate and Kim, we're a couple from Belgium, and we've been traveling the world full time since January 2019.
January 2019, for 1.5 years now, we share our adventures on YouTube. During the pandemic, we found ourselves safe haven here in Taiwan.
We've been here for the past 3.5, almost 4 months actually,
Yep.
and we've been able to see quite a bit of Taiwan. And you might be wondering, is it possible right now to travel around here? And the answer to that is yes and no. Yes, because technically speaking, there aren't any restrictions here at the moment.
Nope.
There has never been a lockdown. Cafes, hotels, restaurants, museums, all points of
All
interest
tourist
basically.
spots are open. Absolutely no restriction. The only thing is
And they haven't been closed at any point.
No, for a while you had to wear a mask on public transport, and that was pretty much the only restrictive thing that was there, and even that has been lifted.
So far, they've only had a couple hundred cases.
And there have been absolutely no new infections for about 90 days now, which is really impressive.
Taiwan's borders are currently closed for all foreigners unless you are a long-term resident in Taiwan. They have been closed since mid-March and no date has been announced so far for the reopening. We did read in some news reports that the government is thinking about reopening starting October of this year. And we definitely recommend traveling here once it is possible, but at the moment it is not if you're not already in Taiwan.
But you can already start planning your trip. I mean, it's so great. They have more than 250 3,000 meter mountains here.
Some of them, which you might see
Right behind
in the
us.
background right here.
Not bad, eh?
Breakfast. Cheers. And back to the Budgeteers.
Thank you, Nick and Kim. You guys are awesome. Enjoy Taiwan, and I'll be there soon, hopefully. One more very interesting country I want to mention in Asia is South Korea. South Korea has a really interesting restriction policy right now. It's open. You can fly into South Korea, but they will give you a COVID test on arrival. And it will take 24 hours or less, and you have to stay in the airport and wait to get your positive or negative result. So that's kind of interesting to me that you could go to Korea, get a free COVID test. However, unfortunately, I dug into this a bit more, and if someone on the plane positively tests for COVID, then everyone on the flight needs to quarantine for 14 days before you can go and join Korea. So it's a bit of a risk at the minute, probably hold back a bit, but you could go to Korea and get a free COVID test, so pretty interesting. Let's talk about Africa. Now, Africa is pretty much shut off completely to the world. In fact, one of the most interesting things about this whole thing is if you go on those flight tracker websites, okay, you'll see flights and things. Surprisingly, loads of flights flying all around the world, except for pretty much the entire southern part of the African continent. In fact, South African airspace is completely shut down for any commercial flights whatsoever. And I checked on the flight tracker. There was one lonely plane. It really is a ghost town in terms of travel. So most of Africa is locked down. The good news is you can go to Egypt. They're giving people temperatures on arrival, and you need a monitor card. And seems like they're pretty lax. If you've ever wanted to go to Egypt and you want to go see the pyramids of Giza with hardly anyone around, it'd probably be a big good time to go now. But yeah, remember what we say. Just think about it. Just think about, is it smart to do that? You know. But if you're in Egypt, maybe go check it out. And of course, we couldn't touch on Africa without mentioning Morocco. Not only have we made a series there, Thais and Damien had an incredible adventure, but our beloved very own Lina Samper Ortega from Colombia is living in Morocco. So Lina, why don't you tell everyone here what's going on in Morocco? Because I heard it's pretty bad.
Hey guys, how are you? It has been a very long time. I am currently still stuck here in Morocco. The international borders are still closed, so we're not open at all. Hopefully the international borders will open up with at least Spain, but hopefully all of the EU at some point this month, but nothing has exactly been determined. Ay, se abrió la puerta. Oh my God, sorry, the door opened. Within the country, I can't even travel at the moment. I'm stuck, like literally stuck here in Tangier. The country has basically been divided into two groups. So group one are cities and towns where there are no cases or there are very few cases, and those cities can basically travel freely amongst each other obviously within the country. The other group, Group B, which is the one Tangier is in, are cities and towns that still have active cases. So currently, the most travel that I can do is down the street. So businesses have started to open up. I kind of went back to work last week, so that's good. But I'm actually getting ready to go on a walk, so I'm gonna take you with me. I'm gonna put on my shoes and we're gonna go. Because that's about all the traveling I'm gonna be doing for a while. Hello. Ça va? Coucou. So one of the most amazing things about Tangier is you can see Spain. That line. Right there, that's Spain. That is España.
Obviously, we've just been concentrating on like countries that we know and that we love and that are probably really interesting to you. So we're not going to sit here forever and go on every country around the world, but we do want to mention some really important countries to us and let you know what the current situation is very briefly. Right now, as of today, New Zealand shut, Australia shut, pretty much shut. You can get a special visa, but it's pretty much shut. Caribbean, all the Caribbean islands are pretty much mostly shut, except for Jamaica. Jamaica, they just give you a nasal test at the airport, a little bit like what happens in Korea. So French Polynesia, you know, that beautiful Bora Bora, beautiful paradise island, similar to like what you get in the Maldives, that's open. So again, if you've got $1 billion and you want to go stay on a water villa, 5-star resort, go chill out. Seems pretty much open, so you can enjoy that. But if you're like us, enjoy a budget backpacker, yeah, just listen to our advice. This video was just to show you a snapshot of what's happening around the world right now. You can travel, and we hope you will travel again very soon. But just remember, what we're promoting today is domestic. Discover the country you live in and travel domestically and responsibly and follow the guidelines. And if you are able to travel internationally, then just be smart, because we're all in this together, and the quicker we all work together and get everything COVID related gone out the window, we'll be able to go to beautiful places like this and have amazing adventures with you guys around the world. And just want to say thank you for watching this bite size. I hope it's been interesting, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.